Hey, it's time for TV Skywriter. Greetings all and welcome to TV Skywriter. I'm Pat Murray, your host. I publish the Durham Skywriter, that's Durham, North Carolina's online community paper. And today's guest is a Durhamite. Like I usually say, about half of my guests are local and the other half are, in other cities and countries and whatnot. But today we're talking with a fellow Durhamite, get the whole name right, Jessica H Murrell Berryman, better known as Jessica from NC Moms Rising. How are you, Jessica?
I'm awesome. Thank you for asking. And thank you for having me here today. I really, really appreciate it.
Sure. I love the work that Moms Rising is doing. And of course, I have to throw out a huge shout out to Beth Messersmith, because that's who I met first.
Yes.
And then is she considered like the executive director or?
So yeah, I call her our fearless leader. She wears all the hats, and we owe a lot to Beth and her tremendous work and her vision. She always a lot of praise the team that works around her, but Beth is just instrumental, and she does so much for our community. And she's a pleasure to work with.
Wonderful. Now, I do understand that Moms Rising is a national organization, and there might be some viewers who've never heard of it. So why don't you tell us what Moms Rising is all about?
Absolutely. So Moms Rising is a national organization. It was founded in Washington state. We have the opportunity of really advocating for families all across America. Contrary to the title Moms Rising, anybody can be part of Moms Rising. You can be a dad, a granddad, a grandma, aunts, or uncles. It's really about just taking up the cause and helping all those in our community, those who may be in similar situations as ourselves, or those who are in worse situations. It's funny how we advocate on so many different platforms, from early education to gun safety. We also do a lot with health kids as far as healthy eating, immigration reform. All these things that we advocate for are things that really do affect everyone in this country. And so it's just a pleasure to be able to have moms throughout the country who are advocating. Some of us have ground areas. So within North Carolina, we have a group that's out of Charlotte. You guys, there's a big presence in Asheville, a presence in Charlotte, Greensboro, Raleigh. We're all together. There's also chapters in DC, and even if you're not in somewhere that has a large ground visibility, you can always still participate by signing up for emails, calling your legislators, fighting against bills that are not those that advocate for families in our country.
So you mean it's possible to get involved even if there's not a chapter in your state? You can still.
Yes. Oh. Okay. Absolutely, please. And I encourage anyone who listens to this podcast and is listening now, please just go ahead, log on to momsrising.org, and you can submit your email and get started.
Now, I really now a lot of nonprofits are a little timid about joining in the fray when it comes to politics. But I really like how Moms Rising steps right. I guess you have to, because you're advocating very often for changes in laws, legislation, et cetera, et cetera.
Yes. Well, our official status is not nonprofit, so it does allow us to take a different stance. But yes, so we're not for profit, but there's I have to look it up, and I apologize for not knowing that right off the top of my head, but that is where we have our leeway. We don't take a political stance as far as a candidate is concerned. We take up causes and issues. So Moms Rising is not an organization that comes out and says, we support any candidate. We support ideas and legislation that we know will benefit families all throughout this country.
Interesting. That's very interesting. I did not know. I just assumed you were a nonprofit. So, okay. And actually, I want to read just a couple of things from your homepage, your national homepage. And it says, Moms Rising is a network of people just like you, united by the goal of building a more family-friendly America.
Yes.
And then I just wanted to list some of the you already listed some of the campaigns, and I just grabbed this from your website. Workplace justice, healthy kids, maternal justice, early care and education, federal budget, gun safety, healthcare, and immigration. I'm very curious about workplace justice. Give me an example of something that you're working on regarding workplace justice.
Well, we don't necessarily look at it in this way, but paid maternity leave is something that we would consider workplace. No woman for that matter either should have to worry about losing his or her come home and take care of their child. That's where a lot of the bonding takes place. It also can be a little frustrating too. We do a lot with breastfeeding moms to make sure that we can encourage people to have opportunity to bond with their child and breastfeed choose. So that's more so workplace justice. Also looking at fair wages for women within the workplace as well. Fair wages for women is fair wages for men as well. We want to make sure that everyone is paid for their work. We want to make sure that everyone can come to work and feel that they are offering something and they're appreciated with that. And sometimes through pay. And so if someone is a colleague of yours who has the same qualifications, why wouldn't you also as a female have that opportunity to make the same amount of money?
That makes sense. And when it comes to getting time off, I remember I worked in Chicago. I'm from Chicago. I had a job at an engineering firm that was so progressive that my boss, he and his wife, my boss's boss. So that's my three bosses up. Anyway, he and his wife were adopting a child, and he was able to get time off. It was kind of like maternity leave, except he's a man, but
right.
I don't know what they called it.
Yes.
Yeah. But I was amazed that he was able to get time off to welcome the new child. I was amazed by that. It was so cool.
Yeah. I mean, the family is so important, and we realize that, and it's nice to see that we're moving away from those traditional roles or what we consider traditional or what we've been conditioned to believe. But anytime that a parent can spend one-on-one with their child is so important, and those first months are very critical in a child's life.
I wonder if some of the problems in the workplace are because we've been pretty much taught, and I say, maybe I shouldn't say we, maybe I don't want to be, just put this all on men, but very often men identify with their jobs very strongly. And it could be that they're taught to put the job before the family. I mean, it seems that way sometimes when you see people killing themselves because they lost their job or whatever. But I remember when I was a little kid, Pop told us that our job was to go to school and get good grades. And his job and my mom's jobs were to take care of the family. He didn't mention anything about the work he was doing, but he told me the reason that he was working and mom was working was to take care of the family. And I'm thinking if more people had that attitude, maybe there wouldn't be so many problems with workplace justice, with the bosses thinking that we're actually thinking that our jobs are more important than our families. And I don't think they are, personally.
Well, you know what? I think that I have now, it's funny, I was an entrepreneur and now my husband is an entrepreneur. So somebody had to go back to work. I laugh and joke that I would have two little girls and they would run around the house and I'd say, oh my gosh, if you run into something, I can't take you to the hospital because I don't have insurance. But what we forget is that, now I'm in the workplace. I can't be happy if I don't know that I have the opportunity to take time off for my children, or I can't care for my children or my family. And so I think that we're getting to see that people perform better at their jobs when they know they have security, and security is just not financial. Security is knowing that your family will be all right, whether that's for providing insurance, whether that means that you have paid time off, whether that means vacation. Family is important, and it's nice to see us get to that in this society.
I agree. I mean, why have a family?
Right. Right. If you can't spend time with them, then why would you do? That's like buying a motorcycle and you can't ride it.
I mean, you see so many movies where the man says, I'm doing it all for my family. I'm like, well, you're never home.
Right.
Would the kids rather have you or just the money?
Right. Yeah.
And Dre's pointing out, he says, I read a study a while back that companies that show a genuine interest in their employee families produces more effectiveness in the workplace. I know that's right.
You know, it's funny because we live right here in Research Triangle Park, and SAS is someone who's a standout company when it comes to their families that they support. They have a lot of opportunities on their campus for employees to receive counseling. They have an awesome EAP team. When you put those resources in place, people appreciate them because that means that you appreciate them as employees. So I totally
Yeah. Again, the same company I used to work for, they used to have company picnics and just different ways of helping people to, I guess, know each other outside the workplace and to actually enjoy each other's company. And I think that helps with teamwork as well.
Yep. Totally agree with that.
Mm-hmm. So when it comes to things like, I'm just curious, like immigration, what's Moms Rising involvement with the immigration issues? I'm very curious about that.
Yeah, I think I had the opportunity to travel to DC with Moms Rising during early education. And at that time, that's when there was a policy at the border where families were being separated. Saw young children who were separated from their families. They were sleeping in areas that you would want no child to sleep in. Mm-hmm. Aside from Moms Rising and me just being Jessica, unfortunately, I couldn't say that I was surprised. We've seen history before, the separation of children and families. Yeah. But really speaking out about that through Moms Rising, having petitions signed for those individuals who may not have anyone on the ground, making the calls to your legislators to say, hey, we need you on the right side of this issue. It's not morally correct. And we've been talking a lot just on the civility side. It's just unnecessary for anyone to be separated from their parent in times like that.
Well, actually, a second child has died while, I'm going to say in custody. It sounds terrible. But while separated from the parents, I just feel so helpless. I don't know what we can do about it. Is that what Moms Rising is really for? Those of us who are upset and don't know where to turn? It seems that when you go to the Moms Rising website, it's very helpful. Yes. And also to be on your mailing list is very helpful because you and Beth make sure that we know who to write to. I like how you point out what the issues are and encourage us to get involved, because sometimes you just want to throw up your hands. It's like, I just don't even know what to do about this problem.
Yeah, I think that, what we realize is that, and it's funny looking at women, even though Moms Rising is for everyone, we talk about the angry woman and, for me, the angry Black woman. Well, you can put a lot of power to your anger. It's about putting truth to power, and it's about taking that power and turning it to legislation. And so that's what Moms Rising has been trying to help formulate, lobbying our legislators. I know we also have Mamas Compro there, which is an awesome organization here in North Carolina. Shayla Arias and Linda Stone have done a fantabulous job with leading the cause on that. And they have more in-depth information about what they're doing as far as that immigration legislation is concerned and what their initiatives they're trying to push. I definitely know that there's a national campaign, and we do, like you said, have that listed on our website as well.
Okay. And again, that's Mamas con Poder, and that's Mothers with Power. So I thought they were like the Spanish language version of Moms Rising. So that's not accurate?
Yeah, it is accurate, yes. And so I just know that Linda specifically and Shayla know a lot more about that immigration reform policy that they're working on. Okay. But yes, that's more so what it is. They take the time to really translate everything in the area that of what we're doing, so that we can make sure we're reaching all audiences across the country.
Okay. And we have a couple of people who have joined. And so they might not have heard. Now, Fraser is in Scotland, so he might not want to become a member of Moms Rising. But again, can I point out that you don't have to be a mom to be a member of Moms Rising.
please know you can always sign up now, even getting the information just about the work that we do. But no, you do not have to be a mommy to be a part of Moms Rising.
So Ray says that's good to know. So
Right, go ahead and join us.
Now, when it comes to special events, I want to promote the event that's going to happen on Dr. King Day, the 21st of January, 2019.
Yes.
Oh, it's the first time I've said 2019. Oh my
Feels
God.
weird. It went by quick.
But we're going to have I'm saying we because I'll be the DJ, but tell us about what's happening on Monday, January 21st at Northgate Mall.
Yes, so Monday, January 21st, we're doing our annual MLK celebration. This was started about 8 years ago. Beth had this vision, and we thought, hey, we need to give children the opportunity to really learn more about MLK, about the civil rights movement, and everything that kind of encompassed it and how it shows up in everyday life. I know one year we did the Green Book, which a lot of people were not aware of. It was such an interesting way to introduce the civil rights movement and what people had to endure during the time. This year,
real quick, tell us what the Green Book was, because that is interesting.
The Green Book is a booklet that was created by a postal serviceman up in New York of safe places for African Americans to stop along the way. And if you go and look, it actually has been archives. It started maybe in the 40s and went all the way up to the 60s of all the Black hotels and restaurants that people could go to. So if you were from Alabama, moved to Chicago, your family was traveling back home to see your mom and dad, you knew you couldn't stop everywhere. So there's a book that told you exactly where you could stop and what safe spaces. So it was like the above.
That's actually pitiful.
Huh?
It's actually pitiful they had to do that.
It is. But it was the above underground map guide.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And so it's very interesting. It was nice to bring that idea to Durham because we had so many locations right here that kids could really identify that they were riding by daily. Mm. And so this year we're celebrating arts in the civil rights movement, how dance influenced the civil rights movement, how singers influenced poetry, and storytelling. And so we're allowing the students to see that it's not just Dr. King, there was a supporting cast. Because unfortunately, sometimes at school, you don't really get all the information. Yeah. And so in the community, we want to wrap around our children and give them some way to engage and understand what exactly happened. So very excited. We'll have workshops, we'll have booths, we'll have DJ Pitty Pat, who we're so thankful for her partnership, and continuing this legacy and continuing to have it grow our community.
Wonderful. It's a free event. And if you're in Durham, I should say the Triangle area, because isn't this the biggest Dr. King celebration in the area?
Yeah, children. We see typically anywhere from 3,000 to 4,000 people who come and participate during this event. And so very excited. There will be at each booth, there will be crafts. Our workshops are extremely interactive. There's something for everyone to do from age 5 to 105. So we encourage everyone to come out and participate.
And there's cake.
Yes, there's cake. So, we're little children and even everybody loves cake. So after we sing the regular version and then the hip hop R&B version that we all love to Happy Birthday for Dr. King, we then cut cake and we enjoy cake to commemorate the day as well.
If you don't mind my asking, do you need any volunteers, or do you just rely on the staff of Moms Rising?
No, we definitely need volunteers. Actually, the individuals who are part of Moms Rising are volunteers, but we definitely need volunteers on January the 20th to help set up tables for all the booths, and also the day of to help with getting all of our workshops set up. So if you're interested in volunteering, you can send an email to Lango Kids RTP, that's LANGO KIDS@gmail.com, or you can give me a call. It's 919-802-7329.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Jessica. Do you want to tell us anything else about Moms Rising, or throw out any shout outs to people in Moms Rising?
So yes, I definitely want to first shout out Beth and everything that she does. Tina Sherman, Shayla Arias, Jessica Burrows. Everybody is just a wonderful team. Linda, I'm so thankful for all that you guys do. You guys have definitely done a wonderful job in this community. And also, I just want to shout out Moms Rising in Durham. You know, there's so many wonderful things that are going on. Seeing individuals do well within our community as far as businesses are concerned. And specifically, I have to shout out my husband's business, Spoke Hub, that I'm very proud that he started. It's an amazing platform. So very excited and looking forward to what he's doing and all the new in the area. I know what it's like to be an entrepreneur, and my hat goes off to you. It's not an easy task at all.
Excellent. And those of us who are regularly playing around on Get Vocal, check out Spoke Hub. We like to check out everything that's new. That's why I wanted you to mention that, because we're always checking out all the platforms just to see what they're all about. So Spoke Hub.
Yes. And I'll have to tell him he needs to contact you if he wants to talk more about it, because this is a really, really awesome opportunity. And it's nice. You said there's someone here from Scotland? No.
Fraser's from Scotland, and Don is from, well, he's American, but he lives in, I believe, Denmark.
Okay.
So I think that's the right country.
Scotland once. That's the first time I ever went out of the country in 8th grade. And I seem to take a liking to pea soup.
Pea soup.
I loved it, Fraser.
Did you see any castles?
I did. You know, my children want so badly to go to Disney World. And I'm like, heck, to go to Disney World, I could take you out of the country and see something else. The world is a really big place.
Oh, yeah, do that. Do that.
Where's Dre from?
I don't know. Dre, if you're still here, you can type that in and join Moms Rising. And again, that's momsrising.org. It's a national organization, but since we're both in Durham, we're talking about the North Carolina chapter, which is based here in Durham. But it encompasses, you just said, what is it? You said Charlotte, Greensboro, Asheville, and just everywhere in North Carolina, right?
Yeah, we have moms all over the place. And I think one of the things with moms is we don't want anyone to ever feel alone. There's a support system. If you guys ever have issues that you're looking at the county or city level, you're not necessarily close to Durham, we will come to you. We support all causes. I don't care if there's a meeting with 3 people there, if it's a call that you want us to call in, if it's an activity that you want us to participate in, we're here to definitely help. We can't make it to everything because it's not a ton of us. No cause is too small. And the more that we work together, the more that we can accomplish. And that's what I love about Moms Rising. It's a whole bunch of mamas out there and daddies ready to kick some butt.
Ooh, I like that. Okay.
It's in a good way.
In a good way. But when it comes to platforms like Get Vocal, if you can't go there in person, you can talk face to face online.
Yes.
I wanted you to see Get Vocal because it's very easy to use. And it's really, like, I have the seats locked right now. There are a total of 4 seats with Get Vocal. Okay. And even though I have the seats locked, I will unlock them in a second. But people can come and go on camera and meet you and talk face to face.
I like that.
So what I'm going to do right now, I'm actually going to end the show officially, but don't go, Jessica, because I will be saying goodbye, but I'm not really leaving. I will be stopping the broadcast, and then I will unlock the seats, and people can jump in and say hi to you in person, face to face. Okay, so I'm going to end the show officially here, folks. I'm glad you watched TV Skywriter. If you're in Durham, be sure to read Durham, North Carolina online community paper at durhamskywriter.com. With that, I will say adieu for now, and I will see you next time.